After 3 days of incredible baseball, we have arrived at the final stage of the World Baseball Classic 2025 qualifier here in Taiwan. And tonight, the hopes of this island hang in the balance as Chinese Taipei looks to avoid missing its first Classic ever, taking on a team that nearly run-ruled them just 5 days ago in Spain. Hi, everybody, and welcome for the final time inside a sold-out and raucous Taipei Dome here in Taiwan, alongside the former Major Leaguer and two-time Team Australia WBC pitcher Ryan Rowland-Smith. My name is Tyler Mon. Make no mistake, this is a very tense and anxious building tonight. A Chinese Taipei team, Ryan, that came into this event with more momentum than maybe any qualifying team ever, on the brink of elimination tonight.
Yeah, and coming off that epic Premier 12 where they took care of Japan, a huge upset, essentially the biggest game of their existence. Now all of a sudden they've put themselves on the ropes in a really tough spot. They elected to go young with the youth, and I'm telling you, that first night against Spain put a lot of people on edge, and a big reason why is the pitching. Just no answers. They've pitched what you can call scared. They've been getting in bad counts, and a lot of youth, they've trusted this youth to get the job done, to get them qualified. So what have they done? They've played tight, and you've shown up on the defense too, Tyler. You mentioned this Taipei Dome, man. There is a lot of angst, a lot of nerves happening right now.
This Spain team comes in looking to roll a Chinese Taipei squad that it nearly mercy ruled back on Friday. And for Chinese Taipei, this is it. I mean, do or die. Without the right result tonight, this will be front page news. It will lead every newscast on this island for the next 24 hours or longer. If Chinese Taipei doesn't get the job done, the world's #2 ranked program will be out of the World Baseball Classic, and Spain will be back in for the first time in over a decade. A massive one here tonight at the Dome. Lineups and first pitch next from Taipei. Ready to rock at the Taipei Dome. Chinese Taipei, the visiting team tonight, by virtue of being third place coming into the second versus third place matchup with a trip to the World Baseball Classic in 2026 on the line. Ryan, some changes in this order. A guy who has been one of the hottest hitters for Chinese Taipei at the top spot in Po-Shun Wong. Then you've got the veterans behind him, Su-Wei Lin, Che Shen-Chen, and Yu Chang.
Well, Su-Wei Lin's been put back in the lineup. They lost him for a couple games, wasn't doing a whole lot offensively. But you mentioned these veterans. They have to step up and set the tone, but I'm telling you, it's going to be tough against this man who struck out 7 last time we saw Chinese Taipei in Ramon Rosso.
And we are underway as the first offering from Ramon Rosso is sprayed to the backstop, and it's 7:05 in the evening. It is a 1-ball, no-strike count on Po-Shun Wong. Ryan, one of the things that has been a big issue for Chinese Taipei in its 2 losses is the way it has started games. They got behind early against Spain and against Nicaragua. They got a leadoff base hit here in the first inning as Po-Shun Wong stays hot, and he's aboard with a single.
Well, 2 things this offense needs to do. First of all, get some early runs. We know about that. Obviously set the tone and just kind of take that weight off your shoulders for not just them, their coaching staff as well, and everyone else in this building. And the other part, get it done with runners on base. Look, they've had plenty of base runners. We've seen the numbers. The runners in scoring position numbers are not good. And a lot of that has to do, Tyler, we've talked about it ad nauseum over the entire weekend. This youth team, and you can feel the pressure on them to try and qualify to go back to the World Baseball Classic next year.
Chinese Taipei has never missed a World Baseball Classic. In the existence of this event dating back to 2006, they have been in every one. They did have to go through the qualifiers once prior, and they actually had one of their best classics ever after that. They made it to the second round in 2013 after having to go through the qualifying round. But this time through, to say that an elimination would be unthinkable is really not overstating it. Chinese Taipei in November won the Premier 12 Championship. That is the top international tournament outside of the World Baseball Classic. They came into this event with all the momentum in the world, and they have sputtered, to say the least. But tonight, being able to potentially get a good start in the first inning just feels so massive for this team. And maybe being the visiting team and batting first provides a little bit different opportunity there.
Yeah, and getting in good counts like this, 2-1 counts. Ramon Rosa is going to try and beat him upstairs with that fastball. That's how he got the 7 strikeouts that first time, just like that.
And a stolen base for Pushwan Wong, who is in scoring position with a 2-2 count on Siwei Lin.
If they can lay off that pitch, the pitch up above the strike zone, they're going to get in better counts and give themselves a chance, and they can ambush anything out over the plate.
Frustrated Gabriel Lino. And the 2-2 fouled, and Lino somehow hangs on to that one. And the strikeout of Siwei Lin brings us to Jishan Chun, the captain and center fielder. Well, this is the all-time WBC experience for Chinese Taipei. Only in 2 years did they win multiple games, and one of those was just 2 years ago. They finished in a 5-way tie as the host in Taichung, just as they did in 2013, hosted in Taichung. And of course, 2 years ago, out of that 5-way tie, they were the last place team, dropped into the qualifying round. And here they are, fighting for their WBC lives on a raucous Tuesday night inside the Dome. Ryan, it has felt like a very, very long day in this city for these fans. You walk around, and we both got to the ballpark pretty early today, a few hours before first pitch. There were already thousands of fans milling around, but you could tell there's a lot of really nervous energy.
Oh yeah, for sure. And just talking to everyone around the team all day when we're exchanging text messages and getting down on the field and talking to personnel, you can feel it. I mean, you think about it. With what they've done and what they've done recently, over in the Tokyo Dome, and here they are, put themselves on the ropes, 9 innings away from essentially not qualifying.
1 ball, 1 strike count from the right-hander Ramon Rosso, and we got to give Rosso his flowers. He was outstanding out of the bullpen against this Chinese Taipei team 4 days ago in that Friday night 12-5 win for Spain. 3 1/3 innings out of the bullpen, 7 strikeouts, 1 hit, no runs allowed. As Chun sees the count go even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The former big leaguer with the Philadelphia Phillies ties up the captain there, Jishan Chun, who delivered the monster home run to give his team its eventual win over Japan in the Tokyo Dome back in November. Flares 1 foul.
And that's where Rosso, that's where he's going to live. You can see Lino, the catcher, setting up. Again, this is just that instant scouting report when you faced the team just a few days ago, and you see how vulnerable they are, and they're going to chase. It's tough to catch that 94, 96 at the top of the strike zone.
2-2, 3-2 on Chun. Yu Chang waiting in the on-deck circle.
Tyler, we talk so much about momentum and energy and you know, some of the influence on some of these younger players. This man hitting right now, Chen, means so much to those young players. How he reacts, how he responds, what he does in the box.
3-2 down the right field line. Trouble if it's fair. It's a foul ball.
Talk about getting on the board early. I'm telling you right now, this man can come up big here. It's going to change the whole tone and that momentum that not only today, but what we've seen the last couple days from that anxious Chinese Taipei team.
3 balls and 2 strikes on the captain. Rosso deals. And a drive into left field, slicing away and down in front of Frank Hernandez at third base and holding and diving back into the bag. Wong is there, and it's first and third, one out. Listen to this reaction to that man at first base.
And that's that reaction you want to give that dugout, these young players. Hey, everything's okay. We're in control. And you know what? Frank Hernandez out in left field. He hasn't played a whole lot of left field here. You can see how hesitant. Again, Spain's going to have a little bit of that hesitancy as well. You don't want to make mistakes. And you can see him right here just kind of backing up on that ball.
And it sets things up.
How many times can this guy go to the well of magic moments and create something? We saw so many in the World Baseball Classic in 2023. And we saw that home run earlier on in the week.
The Friday night two-run shot that got his team on the board when they were trailing Spain 4-0. Can't get a piece of the 1-0 and the count's even on him. It felt like, Ryan, that night, oh, that's what this team needs. They're going to get going from here. They were down, after that point, 12-2 at one point, and it looked as though they were going to be run ruled. 1-1, Chang to left at the base, hit an extra bases. In to score is Wong. First and second turns to second and third, and Chinese Taipei out quick. 1-0 in the first.
You feel like the roof is about to blow off this building. Yu Chang coming through once again. Good piece of hitting too. Look, he swings through that pitch early on in this at-bat. You feel it, you know, because you faced Rosso and you punched out 7. He's going to try and climb the ladder, but he stays aggressive. Gets something he can handle. Chinese Taipei, they are in good shape here early.
Ryan, this is a much different looking Ramon Rosso than what we saw on Friday. And it's important to point out that in that Friday game, he came in with his team already leading. That eventual 12-5 win. Elian Leyva pitched into the third, the starter on that day. Rosso came on and inherited things from there and was dominant over 3 1/3. But by that point, the crowd dynamic was very, very different.
Yeah, there's that. Look, this goes both ways. We talk so much about Chinese Taipei and pressure and everything else. Ramon Rosso, you come out, you punch out 7. So you want to replicate how good you were. And it's like all of a sudden you raise that bar just a little bit and you start missing 1-0, 2-0. You start second guessing what you're doing, and that can snowball.
This is exactly what these fans were hoping for as they filed into the ballpark tonight, 35,000 strong. They got a chance for a big first inning here. Yen-Ting Wu trying to hold up there and does so, and the count is even at 1-1.
And he's not getting that same reaction too on that fastball. It's been close.
Third base umpire today, Yoshiharu Yamaguchi. Ben Phillips is the second. Evan Johnson at first. Mark Stewart called the balls and strike behind on the plate. Wu swings through the 1-1 as that bears down under the bat head.
That's that changeup. You had that feeling he's going to go back upstairs once again. About 95, top part of the strike zone for that swing and miss.
Here comes the 1-2. Evened up.
See, he's just not getting that pitch over. That's crucial. 96, trying to go to the top of the strike zone, and you can see him just kind of flying open because he's trying to do too much with that pitch.
Already working the Spain bullpen. That's Yuri Garcia, the right-hander. Full count now on Yen-Ting Wu. Ryan, you beat home the point over the last few days about what has made teams successful in this qualifier, especially Nicaragua, getting into those advantageous counts. Yeah. We've seen that a lot from Spain over the last 3 days.
tonight, not the case to start this game. 3-2, Wu, grounder foul. We'll do it again.
It's a tough 15-second decision you have to make in between pitches, right? You don't feel like you've got that good feel on that fastball. You've seen plenty of them with this pitch sequence right here. But you got to keep going back to what you know you can have success with. It's a situation, go back up in the top of the strike zone.
Full count roller out to second. Will get another run home. Yenting Wu, a productive out. It's 2-0 Chinese Taipei.
Carl, you said early on in this broadcast, if they can get it done today and get off to that good start, big first inning start, all is forgotten in the last couple of days. And they're chipping away right now. Just better at bats, getting better counts.
Not to mention, they've got a very exciting young arm on the pitcher's mound tonight, who we will talk about here in just a little bit. Chun Jung-Hao Duang, who gets the start, and they got a lot of really talented arms behind him who are lined up to go tonight, as does Spain. But the early advantage on the side of Chinese Taipei as the count goes to 0 balls and 2 strikes to Yujie Gao, the designated hitter out of the 5 spot. Check that, out of the 6 spot. Trying to avoid stranding Yu Chang at third. 0-2. Ryan, the other thing too, even though that last one was an out, Chinese Taipei's struggles with runners in scoring position have been pronounced. They were 5 for 33 in those first 3 games. As the 1-2 was swung on and missed. They come through with a hit here and an RBI ground out, and they've got a lead as we head to the bottom of the first inning. Chinese Taipei with 2 runs across. Yu Chang with the RBI double, and the host squad with the early lead. It's a do-or-die 7th game of the World Baseball Classic Qualifier here in Taiwan. Chinese Taipei 2 in the first, and Spain to the bat rack as we head to the bottom of 1 at the Taipei Dome. Of the first inning at the Taipei Dome. Chinese Taipei with 2 runs in the top half of this frame, and Spain headed to the batter's box as the leadoff man Andres Angulo will step in. It'll be Angulo, then Angel Beltre, and Wander Encarnacion. And the first pitch into Angulo is ball 1 from a very talented young right-hander, Chun Jung-Hao Duang, who is in the Oakland Athletics organization and has had a really interesting prospect road as a one-hopper out to second, not even. It settles into the glove of Zhao Lin. Check that, Zhu Lin. And the leadoff man is gone on the second pitch.
Their pitching is shaped up much better, essentially, than that first game. They used 9 pitches that first game, but having Zhuang set the tone, get some quick outs, be in good shape. But you mentioned 24 years old, finished here in AA. Had a really nice year too, dominated 2024 across 3 levels. 2.09 ERA. Would have been on that Premier 12 team. comebacker. Hit off the elbow, took him out of that Premier 12. This is big, Tyler. The other part of this is too, look, I love the fact that we get to see some big-time prospects who are playing in the United States, like Zhuang and you know, some of the Shah, who's another Oakland A's pitcher, but it comes with some restriction. In Chinese Taipei, they know that there's a situation where you have to mix and match because there's limitations on how many innings he can pitch, what's the pitch count going to be, how many innings can he go. So we'll see how long they can stretch him and get some quick outs here for Chinese Taipei.
Yeah, this is not a guy who has had a ton of work in his professional career. He was signed by the Athletics in 2021 after he pitched and starred for Chinese Taipei in the U23 Baseball World Cup. He was signed by Adam Hislop, the A's Asia area scout, who's actually fluent in Mandarin and has been one of the driving forces behind a lot of these Taiwanese prospects signing with the A's. But underwent Tommy John surgery, missed all of the 2023 season. Line drive, that'll get over the leap of Lin and down into right field. A one-out single for Angel Beltre. That is his 5th hit of the World Baseball Classic Qualifier, and a one-out man aboard in the first.
Just too much plate with 2 strikes. A lot of base runners from this Chinese Taipei pitching staff overall.
Wander Encarnacion steps into the batter's box. And Ryan, we were down on the field earlier today talking with Nelson Prada, the manager of the Spain team, and said to him, you know, you gotta just get to play with house money tonight. This is not a situation where your guys are gonna be phased. Obviously, they came in on Friday. They played in this environment with 35,000 fans cheering for the other side. They came away with not just a win, but a dominant win, that 12-5 victory. And he said, yeah, I mean, we just keep it loose. We're a group that has fun together. We try to keep the clubhouse light. We had fun yesterday during our workout. Chinese Taipei did not work out yesterday. Spain did come here to the Dome and work out. But he said his guys were in a great frame of mind coming into tonight. As Encarnacion awaits, and the 0-2 fouled back to the screen. And that's the approach you have to have.
Yeah, and you know, one thing I noticed too, on that opening night, Spain, Chinese Taipei, these two teams, and Spain, you mentioned it, they look loose. And you made the call about Adam Jones, talking about play like you're playing in Latin America, like you're so used to doing.
This is interesting. Maybe some gamesmanship here from Nelson Prada. It's going to draw some boos from the fans here at the Taipei Dome. A smartwatch that Zhuang will have to send back into the dugout on the first base. Hey, you understand that? If you're Nelson Prada,
how's he going to measure his steps in the next couple of hours?
You know, you don't know what it is. You want to make sure that you got everybody on a level playing field. But B, anything to disrupt the rhythm. The 0-2 fouled at the plate. Ryan, the other thing that Nelson Prada said to us earlier today is he's emphasized to his guys, hey, there are 14 different ways that you can have a productive, positive plate appearance. It's not just getting base hits. And one of the things he emphasized is even if you go up and you don't have a productive out, you don't get a hit, you don't take a walk, find your way on base, whatever, just seeing a lot of pitches, getting to an 8, 9, 10 pitch at bat, especially in a circumstance in which you're dealing with pitch limitations as we are here in the World Baseball Classic Qualifier, that alone is valuable. 1-2, Beltre off from first, and a liner out to left will get down in front of Chun, and it's first and second with one gone.
Well, you bring up the at-bats. You know, one thing with Zhuang, with how big of a prospect he is and what kind of stuff, with 2 strikes, there's that split. Just ineffective, just too much plate right now with 2 strikes. We've seen this all week long from this Chinese Taipei team. And again, it has such a ripple effect. Not only, obviously, not finishing guys with 2 strikes, but number 2, you mentioned that pitch count. And I know it's the last game, so you don't have to map out the way you're going to work things with all the pitch limitations. When you start pushing 5, 6 pitches per plate appearance, then all of a sudden you put these good arms that you want to get out of the game on the ropes. And not to mention, too, Chinese Taipei 17.11 pitches per innings pitched. Just not economical at all. You're going to roll through a pitching staff and get into that depth.
Not only that, but this is a guy who, as we touched on, has dealt with some injury issues. He's only thrown 108 innings in his entire professional career. And at this stage, choosing to be part of this team instead of heading to camp early with the A's. You don't know, as Ryan, as you mentioned, just how stretched out he is for an outing on February 25th.
Right.
As he works against Spain's first baseman, Jesus Ustaris. That one back into the screen, and it's another 0-2 count.
And that's the other element, too. We talk all the time about the Premier 12, and if you're watching in the United States and you're unfamiliar with the Premier 12, it's essentially the World Cup, and it was the World Cup before the World Baseball Classic rolled in. And it's a big deal, especially here, especially in Japan in that Tokyo Dome. But you don't deal with the limitations, the pitch restrictions.
Yeah, that event in November.
And you also
a little bit more flexibility.
Yeah, and the other part, guys are peaking. I know how I feel in February compared to September, October, November. That is for sure.
That is the pitching coach of this team, Wepung Lin, a legend in his career. Now a coach in the CPBL. 0-2 pitch, and just off the outside corner. It'll go to 1 and 2. And all of a sudden, Zhuang is approaching 20 pitches here in this first inning after getting it out on the leadoff man on his second pitch.
And again with 2 strikes. So that can play on your mind a little bit when you cannot put a hitter away consistently.
Here's the 1-2. Count even. This Spain team, they have just been lethal in finding the right pitches to hit, but they won't there as Ustari's fooled on a 75-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch, and he's gone for out number 2.
Yeah, a lot of play right there, but putting a hitter away, that is huge for your confidence. Now look at this lineup. You see Encarnacion, Ustares, and Estrada. They had done most of that damage, Tyler, and that's going to be a big part for this Chinese Taipei team to figure out. Really, the only change, Frank Hernandez playing left field for Quincer, who's been taken out of the lineup.
So with first and second and 2 gone now, the task will fall to another guy who's been hot in this lineup in Roosberg Estrada. 4 for 12 with a home run. And we have a pitch timer violation. That actually kind of worked out better for Zhuang, the right-hander. That pitch getting away and would have put the runners both in scoring position, but instead it's just ball 1. Spain as an offense hitting .327 over its first 3 games. And obviously it's such a limited sample size, but they have been outstanding offensively. And there's a shot to right center field, and that could get this thing tied. It's cut off out there by Sung, who will hustle it in quickly enough to hold Encarnacion at third, but it's an RBI single for Roosberg Estrada, and Spain's on the board, cutting the lead in half. It's 2-1.
In the middle of this lineup, doing the damage again. Within minutes, that energy went back to everything we talked about in the open. With some of the nerves right now, some of the edginess in that dugout down in Chinese Taipei, and especially with these 40,000 fans.
It is weird to think about this first inning in the context of needing a shutdown inning, but the way things have gone for Chinese Taipei, it's not often you talk about a shutdown inning in the bottom of the first.
Yeah.
But the way things have gone for Chinese Taipei, that's kind of what it felt like coming into this inning. You get an out on the second pitch of Angulo, and you feel pretty good about things, but since then, single, strikeout, single, and Spain just showcasing that really complete offensive approach, and now the tying run at third base in the bottom of the first. The manager of this team, Sung, the one on the left of your screen a moment ago wearing the mask, and it is a tense night for him. Sung was on top of the baseball mountain on this island for the last 3 months. And tonight, depending on how things go, he might find himself in a very different place. As it's ball 1, the shortstop out of the 6th spot, Edison Valerio. Valerio 4 for 11 here in the qualifier. Trying to get this thing tied. Count evens on him. The fastball to make it check that. Chinese Taipei wearing those familiar blue tops. They won the Premier 12 title back in November. Spain has the home team and the home whites tonight. And a shot to right field. Will it hang up long enough? Oh, what a catch! Chung-Rae Sung saves a run and maybe more. And he lights up an electrified Taipei Dome. We are headed to the top of the second, and Chinese Taipei holds the lead. It's 2-1. We head to the top half of the second inning, and Spain's defensive group looks largely as it has for the first 3 games of this World Baseball Classic Qualifier. Frank Hernandez, as Ryan noted, out there in left field in place of Chris Quitzer. They played good defense, 3 errors as a team over their first 3 games, but Spain has done the job they have needed to do. And man, defense, certainly the story to end the first inning, as Chung-Rae Sung with a diving catch to preserve the lead for Chinese Taipei. He'll bat 3rd in this inning, but it's Wen Jieshun who will lead things off. And first pitch, swinging, shoots one right side and past the dive of Carlos Colmenares. A leadoff single for the 2nd straight inning for Chinese Taipei.
Well, first of all, Tyler, that play was unbelievable to finish off that inning. I'm sure we'll get another look at it at some point for so many different reasons. The fact he's committed to that play, not on his heels, not playing defensively. In other words, playing scared like we've seen a little bit with this Chinese Taipei, and what it does is continue to roll that energy right into this inning.
Another good start to an offensive frame, and a bunt down on the first base side, and it will be a 1 unassisted put out as Rosso will tag Chao-Hung Jung. And you know, so often we talk, Ryan, about how lineups for Asian countries, whether it's Chinese Taipei, Japan, Korea, they'll bunt 1 through 9. We see less of that nowadays. I don't feel like it's quite as common. It used to be, especially back when you were playing internationally, you get a leadoff base runner on against any of those teams, you know the next guy up is bunting. Doesn't matter if he's the 3-hole hitter, the 9-hole hitter. We don't see it quite as much, but in a winner-take-all game, you're trying to manufacture every run you can.
Right.
So that'll bring up the hero of the first inning, Chung-Rae Sung. Inside the park homer a couple of nights ago for this Chinese Taipei squad. That came in the top half of the 6th inning against South Africa. That game, Chinese Taipei's lone win to this point of the qualifier. But if they win tonight, none of the rest of it matters. Spain, starting with that big win over Chinese Taipei on Friday, they fell to Nicaragua on Saturday. And then bounced back with a win over South Africa on Sunday. which set them up potentially to be the first place team out of this pool, as a liner to right is down for a base hit, and it's first and third with one away. Just like the first, single out single and runners at the corners.
And again, a lot of this damage with 2 strikes. That pitch right there was the pitch that owned Chinese Taipei in those middle innings when Rosso came into that game. 7 strikeouts, majority of them with 95 up at the top of the strike zone. Chinese Taipei getting to that pitch tonight.
Ryan, there's something very different about this atmosphere tonight. I mean, we have talked about how incredible this atmosphere is, being able to call games here for the last several days. Tonight is the first night where, obviously, it's noisy. You can feel the sound tonight. I mean, it is pumping into this booth. And for these fans, every one of them on their feet right now, it's the top of the second inning. This is what this building sounds like in the second inning of this one-run game.
There's that catch again. Look at this. And again, it is so easy, especially when you're playing indoors too. We've seen that the last couple of days. It's so easy to misread that ball, especially with the backdrop behind the third base dugout. But just committing to that play, and it did save some runs. But however, we do have to say that ball slipped past him.
Yeah, that's a 3-run inside the park homer. Yeah. We're talking about things very differently here in the second. Poshon Wong trying to catch this team off guard. Bunts through that one, and the count, no balls and a strike on him. Poshon Wong has been terrific for this Chinese Taipei team. He is now 8 for 13 in this qualifier, bumped up to the leadoff spot tonight. Trying to add to a 1-run lead. Count evens on him. Yeah, there's just something that feels very different in this building tonight. We're also trying to work through it. 2 balls and a strike. That one missing just down.
And offensively, they've been good. Chinese Taipei. It's just doing it when it counts.
That's the big difference so far. We talked about that 5 for 33 mark with runners in scoring position the first 3 games. The opportunities were there for Chinese Taipei. The execution has not been. Now it's 3-1 on Wong with the veteran bats and the former big leaguers looming behind him.
You got to be aggressive right now. 3-1 count. Get something down over the plate.
Swung at ball 4 there. That thing diving away. That is a fantastic pitch. Chasing it out of the zone. Wong will step back in for a full count offer. Balls and 2 strikes on Poshon Wong. Rosso deals runner off from first, ball 4, they're loaded up. And that's going to be it. Ramon Rosso on Friday night, 3 1/3 scoreless innings, 1 hit, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk. Tonight, 1 1/3, charged with 2 runs already, and responsible for 3 on as he departs this game in the top of the second. A tale of 2 nights for the right-hander and former major leaguer. Yudi Garcia will check into this game for Spain. Chinese Taipei having fun in the early going. Bases loaded in the top of the second. Spain already forced to go to the bullpen here in the top half of the second inning. Chinese Taipei, 2 runs home, the base is loaded, and Yudi Garcia, the new arm into the game, deals ball 1 down and in to the former major leaguer Zhou Lin. Ryan, not an easy spot to come into a game in any circumstance, certainly not into an environment like this. These fans are louder than we have heard them all weekend. And you're staring at the teeth of this lineup right now for Yudi Garcia.
Yeah, especially when you watch your starter, Rosa, who was so dominant last time out. 7 punch-outs have no answers, especially with 2 strikes.
Yudi Garcia, former Pirates prospect, and a member of this bullpen that has allowed just 3 earned runs in 13 1/3 innings pitched. And none of those earned runs since that Friday night win over Chinese Taipei. Count back in Zhou Lin's favor at 2-1. Three balls and a strike. Nowhere to put him. And the captain on deck. Nelson Prada needs some answers from his pitching staff. 3-1, down the right field line, toward the corner. Foul, no! That's a fair ball and it's gone! Even the base runners are confused. One of the base runners started to cross back over the infield. That was Po-Shun Wong. He heads back to second. Everybody rounds and scores. And as it stands, it is a grand slam for Zhou Lin and a 6-1 lead. But immediately, Spain has requested a review.
Get another look at it right here. Zhou Lin, who was taken out of the lineup, the veteran, former major leaguer, has definitely redeemed himself with this swing.
Oh, it's foul.
Oh. A nice grab right there by the fan.
Great catch. Man, oh man.
This will be overturned. Those base runners are onto something.
And you could see immediately, as they will confirm that, based on the reaction, I think most everybody hearing to that was foul too. But you can see Gabriel Lino just very calmly walked out from behind the plate and was pointing like there's no way that was a fair ball. So Zhou Lin will climb back in. Man, oh man, the swing of emotions for the 35,000 plus in this building over the last 60 seconds. And it's a 3-2 count now on Lin. Garcia deals. Ball 4. It'll add a run anyway.
Tyler, we talked about this Spain team not being affected at all by this crowd, by that 10th man, as you called it, on night number 1. You can feel it from up here in that dugout, on that pitcher's mound, 60 feet away from these hitters. They are definitely feeling that energy tonight.
We'll get you the story about the dice, by the way, as the evening rolls along. That's a carryover celebration, a new tradition from Premier 12. A fly ball down the left field line from Cheshun Chen. Cut off and snagged by Frank Hernandez, who will hustle a terrific throw in, and that will keep everybody at their stations as Chung Rae Sung is forced to return. And with 2 gone, bases remain empty for Yu Chang.
Yeah, he's glaring at his third base coach right now. Felt like he had plenty of room to score right there. And looking again, he's got some speed too. Looks like he could have gotten in there.
Ryan, I wrote down the way that you phrased this in the first inning because it's one of my favorite things you've ever said. You said, how many times can Yu Chang go to the well of magical moments for this Chinese Taipei team? He did it in the first with that RBI double down the left field line, and he bats here in a crucial moment in the early going of this game. 0-1, fouled away, and it's 0-2. Yu Chang 4 nights ago with his team trailing early got Chinese Taipei its first 2 runs of the game with a loud 2-run shot to left. Felt like that was going to be what his team needed to get going on the first night of this qualifier. It was not. But
and that's his
heartbeat, guys.
That's his happy zone right there too. That pitch down and in. Again, we're basing that off 2023 World Baseball Classic when he came up big, but I'll tell you right now, Yudi Garcia needs to stay well away from that area.
That one just missed off the outside corner. Former Pirates prospect nibbling there, trying to get a called strike 3. 2 balls and 2 strikes on the former big leaguer. Called strike 3. He freezes Yu Chang on back-to-back pitches near the borders of the zone, and he gets the called strike 3 on the second one. Big strikeout for Yudi Garcia, who limits the damage. Chinese Taipei gets just 1 in the second. We will head to the bottom of the second, 3-1. Defensive alignment for Chinese Taipei is similar to what we have seen most nights. The captain Chen Jie-shen out in center field. The former big league middle infield duo, and Yu Chang and So Wei Lin at short and second. Xiao Hung Chang has grabbed that job behind the plate. And all those guys in service of Chen Zhang Hao Zhuang tonight. Swing and a miss from the Rays prospect Carlos Colmenares, who felt like he was right on that one, nodding out to the mound. These are 2 guys who could see each other at some point down the road in their professional careers. Colmenares in the Rays system and Zhuang in the athletics organization. 0-2 pitch. Tag to center. Falling quickly, and Chen diving, can't make the play. Colmenares will hold it first. Good effort there from Chih-Shen Chen, but it's a leadoff single.
And this Chinese Taipei defense is pushing into that. Now, a little extra gear here trying to make these plays. Again, they're way more familiar with this building than Spain is, that's for sure. But not playing on their heels. You know, one thing too, Tyler, you know, going back to that last half inning, Su-Wei Lin, who was a foot away from that grand slam. Yeah, I've played with guys in the past, especially in tournaments like this, veteran guys, right, where they get taken out of the lineup. We saw that. Yeah, he kind of got subbed out of there for playing second base. I'm not saying he lost his starting job, but what happens is at times these veteran players, they kind of get bitter or they make comments in the dugout or the clubhouse. And you don't get that feeling when you talk to these players and the vibe around the team. It's such that team feel, and to see a veteran player take a step back, say, all right, you can take me out of the lineup, and then come into tonight and you just see that energy, because you know what? These young players, regardless of how much time you've spent in the big leagues or whatnot, they've watched you, they've looked up to you, and it carries so much weight. And it's so easy. And again, I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus here, that's for sure. But again, being on national teams with some guys, and they get pushed aside, and they, oh man, they carry such bad energy in and around the team.
Pitch drills Lino after Vaughn got back to an even count. So it's first and second now with nobody out for Spain.
And that's a split right there. That's a pitch. It's such a weapon. We talked about inability with 2 strikes in that first inning. And again, just losing the grip on that pitch. He hasn't had that weapon tonight. Again, the wheels are going to spin in that dugout. If you're Chinese Taipei, everyone's on a short leash. Not to mention some of the restrictions you're going to deal with. The fact he's got to go back to spring training right after this.
So it brings up one of the hottest hitters in this qualifier, although very limited action to this point. Frank Hernandez, who came on as a pinch hitter 2 games ago for his team. He'll try to sacrifice these guys to second and third. He takes a fastball for strike 1. And he's got 4 hits in as many trips to the plate since debuting in the qualifier as a pinch hitter. Hernandez, a member of the Tenerife Marlins in the Spanish National League. Squares again and gets it down third base side. Yenting Wu started going back to the bag, but recovers in time to get the out.
I'll tell you one thing, Tyler, the sack bunting, you talk about seeing it way more in these tournaments, it's been rock solid. Like, really good. For every team, really.
Yeah, I think we've only seen one. We saw one pop out on an attempted sacrifice bunt. Other than that, I think everything,
right, everything's
has gotten the job done.
I think South Africa had that miscue late in the game against Nicaragua. Besides that, I mean, and again, like you said, it's that lost art of bunting. You just don't see it in the big leagues really anymore.
So a monster spot here for Andres Angulo, who has been cold to this point, 2 for 13 here in the qualifier. Back at the top of the order. The first pitch bends down. It's 1-0.
And Tyler, if you're a young pitcher like Zhuang right now, pitching on home soil, knowing how crucial this game is, you know how that feel for that split. You know, all these thoughts are running around your head with 2 strikes. How am I going to? You put all that aside and say, you know what, this is going to be the biggest at bat of my outing, of my night right now.
Good pitch there to even it up.
Get yourself in a good count. Press the reset button and just execute. Because this is the at bat you'll remember, especially when you go back to spring training in just a couple days.
1-1. Angulo lifts it out to left. Won-Jae Shin will camp out under it, tagging at third base. Here comes Carlos Colmenares. He will score, and a sacrifice fly for Andres Angulo gets the run back for Spain. It's back to a 1-run game at 3-2.
I'll tell you what, they're not going quietly. This Spain team, they've been relentless. We talked about the at-bats, what they do with 2 strikes. It's just a fastball middle of the plate, and just enough to drive in that second run.
And again, the sacrifice bunt playing a big role. That puts the runners at second and third. Lino had to hold at second, so he remains there, 2 stations away for NL Beltre. Beltre, the former consensus top 100 prospect, big league guy in his time, who has most recently played in the Dominican Winter League with the Toros del Este.
Right now, spring training's happening, Major League Spring Training, and it was a daily occurrence. There is a bunt station going on, or bunting, working on bunting on the daily. I've talked to guys more recently. They said, maybe once a week, maybe we'll throw a couple down. And then they get asked to do it when someone's throwing 98 at the top of the strike zone with plus RPM. It's just not a factor, but you're right. It plays such a huge factor in these games.
Going to get an intentional walk here to Beltre. So that'll set up a force out at any bag with 2 gone. But it brings in a guy who has been one of the best hitters for this Spain team in Wander Encarnacion. It does set up a right-on-right situation, but interesting tactic to go against Encarnacion with 2 on. Singled in his first trip to the plate. And takes ball 1. You're explaining bunting at 98, top of the zone. Was that a cover for the bunt in San Francisco?
That was 98 at the top of the strike zone. Because we don't have any video footage of it.
No, nothing
to go back to.
It certainly doesn't exist. 1-1 on Encarnacion. 5 for 12 here in the qualifier. 1-2. Great pitch there, 94, dotted over the outer part of the plate. The fans want a strikeout. And the 1-2 from Zhuang. Flared to right. Sung. Inning over. The A's prospect right-hander strands a pair aboard, and Chinese Taipei holds the lead as we go to the 3rd in Taiwan. Top half of the 3rd inning, offense has not been an issue to this point. Chinese Taipei 3 runs on 5 hits in their first 2 digs at the plate. Spain 2 runs on 4 hits. And as we head into the top of 3, it'll be 5, 6, and 7 for Chinese Taipei. The veteran Yenting Wu leads things off for his squad. Back at the Taipei Dome alongside Ryan Roland Smith. My name is Tyler Vaughn. Ryan, one of the things that has plagued this Chinese Taipei team, they have left 38 men on base in their first 3 games. They have left 4 through their first 2 innings tonight. Spain has done the same. Spain left 2 aboard in the second, 2 in the first. Chinese Taipei left the bases loaded in the second. Yenting Wu.
Yeah, this Chinese Taipei team, they look different. There's a different energy amongst them on both sides of the ball, right? I mean, you intentionally walk Angel Beltre, who, by the way, Zhuang has way more success against lefties, usually because of that split. But that split isn't quite working. He faces the righty, gets that big out. And then offensively, too, you mentioned just the better execution. You know, we talked to some of these guys today on the field. We, kind of questioning. No workout yesterday. They didn't hit. Spain came to the ballpark and hit on the off day. Chinese Taipei took the full day off. No workout. Now, I think what that allows you to do is just detach from what you've been doing, the kind of energy that you've been putting out the last couple of days. You can kind of press that reset button and just let it eat.
2, Wu serves that one foul.
These tournaments are so quick to turn around, and it's all about timing sometimes, and who's doing what. What veteran is going to lead the charge? What young player is going to step up in a matter of, 3 days? Small sample size.
Rounded over to first, where Jesus Ustaris will put out Nianting Wu. That is the first time today that Spain has retired the leadoff.
Now, I say all that, we're going to 3-2 ball game. But you feel like that, right, Tyler? You feel like Chinese Taipei's been in complete control all night long.
And the thing that is so different with that is this is really the first time that we have felt that way. Even in the South Africa game, Chinese Taipei, they won that game and they won it in a big way. It was a 9-1 final, but they didn't pull away in that game until late.
It was clunky.
Yeah, it was. That's a good way to describe it. It was a 4-0 lead going to the bottom of the 4th. They led it 4-1 going into the 6th, and then they added on. But it never felt like, oh, they just dominated that game.
And they even looked frustrated too, even in that game. There was moments where, again, just execution with runners on base, finishing guys off. And this is a different team.
Balls and a strike, and UJ Gao, the DH, out of the 6th spot. Gao to center field, racing in Beltre, and he's there to make the grab. 2 gone.
Yeah, and you and I got a chance to work the Premier 12 back in November, and I remember saying to you, we had this conversation. In years past, when you talk about these team, Samurai Japan, Korea, Chinese Taipei has always been kind of played third fiddle in this part of the world with regards to those national programs. And I said during the Premier 12, there's something different about this team. They're pitching with more conviction. They're not playing, they're not backing off plays. And the last couple of days we came to the ballpark today, I said, I feel like they've kind of reverted back to some of those things that we saw 5 years ago. Not the case
out to second, will retire the side and end things here in the 3rd. 3 up, 3 down goes Chinese Taipei. We head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Spain gets a shutdown inning. We'll see if Chinese Taipei can do the same. It's 3-2. Middle third of the order for Spain as we go to the bottom of the third inning. The first scoreless frame up on the board in this one. Chinese Taipei 3 up, 3 down in the top of the third. And the first offering there for a called strike to the first baseman, Jesus Ustari. He's out of the cleanup spot. He'll be followed by Roosevelt Estrada and then Edison Valerio. Chinese Taipei 2 in the first. Spain got 1 back. Chinese Taipei answered with a run in the second. Spain scratched that one back. That's where we sit at 3-2.
A little surprised Zhuang is allowed to go back out for the third, not because of performance. We talked about this earlier. Pitching in the US, obviously you have to abide by their rules. Yes, you can borrow this player, but these are the limitations. But then all of a sudden, 43 pitches. I mean, when you're on the build-up schedule like some of these young prospects are, it's not usually at that 45 pitch mark at this time of year.
It's so fascinating how quiet this place is when Spain is at the dish, and you'll find that across Japan and Korea as well. And their team is hitting raucous. The other team is hitting much more muted as a fly ball to center field, right center. Calling and catching Sung, one away. And that'll bring up Roosevelt Estrada. Estrada has been a stellar bat in the middle of this lineup and punished this home run for his team against South Africa in that 9-1 victory. Pretty solid bat flip to go along with it. That was a 2-run shot in the third inning. And Spain cruised to that 9-1 win. And he bats here with the bases empty and 1 gone. Estrada with something in his eye. And his fans frustrated by the pause. There's never a problem for Ryan Rowland-Smith.
That's right.
With the glasses.
Oh, that was big problems. Fogging up, sweat hitting the lens. Had to get rid of those things quick.
Big hack and miss from Estrada, 0-1. Estrada 5 for 13 in the Classic. 6 runs batted in, 2 times more than anybody else on this team.
This is where you just go for the throw, just climb that ladder fastball at the top of the strike zone, you're going to swing and miss.
0-2 pitch. 1-2.
I feel like he got away with one right there. I know he blew 2 fastballs by him. What's going to happen, Australia's going to speed up just a little bit. That's why you climb the ladder. Now he's going to go.
1-2, out on the ground, too short, where Yu Chang has it, 2 gone. That's the first chance of the day for Yu Chang. First chance of the day for any infielder outside of the sacrifice bunt. Now with 2 gone and the base is empty, it brings up the shortstop, Edison Valerio. It was Valerio who shot the line drive to right field that Chung Rae Sung snared on that dive to end the first inning. Oh! It was a bit of a gamble, but it paid off big time for Sung as Zhuang hits 50 pitches here in the third. 1-1.
And you can see him just staying with that fastball. That's a good one. He's got that feel for it. I'm assuming this is going to be it for him.
Valerio to left. 1J Chun. Inning over. 3 up, 3 down on both sides in the third. And we head to the top of the 4th inning, locked in a good one at the Taipei Dome. Chinese Taipei with a 3-2 lead over Spain in a winner-take-all Game 7. Taipei Dome, it is a 3-2 lead for Chinese Taipei over Spain as we head into the top half of the fourth inning. First man in to see Yuri Garcia in the fourth is Xiao, the catcher. 2 balls and no strikes on Chang, who was retired on that one unassisted put out, the sacrifice bunt. His first trip to the plate. And man, the noise is just right back to peak level in the top half of the third. It's also a little bit strange for this team. You know, it's not uncommon in tournament play, but it's a little strange for these fans to see their team batting in the top half of innings.
Right.
But might have benefited Chinese Taipei tonight. They got started on the right. No, swing and a miss there. That ball escapes from Lino, and Wang is on. That is a big way to start this inning. Zhao Hongyang able to hustle it out at first on the drop third strike, and it's a base runner all the same for Chinese Taipei.
Carl, I gotta tell you, there's nothing more deflating when you get a big swing and miss, a strikeout. It's a drop third strike. Runner gets down to first base. The worst.
So Yuri Garcia has to deal with a base runner now and a pitch timer violation on Chung-Rae Sung. Makes it no balls and a strike. We have seen a lot of those this week. Good bunt down on the first base side by Sung, and Garcia able to make the play to Ustari's at first, 1 out.
And Garcia, 32 pitches. See how much that mix and match. We had a chance to talk to Spain before this one, and talking to some of those coaches, and just some of the guys who are unavailable. Pablo Guillen, Elian Leyva, Jan in the green. Everyone else, it's all hands on deck.
Yeah, and Nelson Prada, the manager of this team, told us, you know, his big guns, he's got those guys all available, whether it's Garcia, obviously, who's in right now, Reiner Cruz, Fernando Baez, Daniel Alvarez. But so far, Chinese Taipei has been in front throughout. They got their hottest hitter at the plate right now, trying to add to a 1-run lead in the fourth rather. Bushman Wang takes strike 1. Wang, a single in the first inning, scored the first run of this game. He walked in the second. One and one. Garcia today during batting practice, walking off the field after his team got done hitting, and just gave me the biggest smile, the smile of a guy who is embracing the moment, but certainly did not seem to be feeling any pressure coming into this game. And that's what Nelson Prada and his staff are relying on tonight with Spain. They handled this environment so well on Friday. Tonight, not quite the same early on. In the air to right field, Andres Angulo, pretty much in his tracks, makes the catch. Tagging at second, John will have to hold there. So 2 gone.
That's a big out too, top of this lineup. Runner in scoring position. You guys see it, went pitch backwards a little bit right there. Stuck with that changeup. That's the one pitch Wang has struggled with, then tried to speed him up with that fastball just enough.
That'll bring up Wei Lin.
Who we thought, Tyler, will fall to you given the big home run / grand slam epic home run call, but it went foul.
And man, I mean, how different is this game right now if it's 6-2 instead of 3-2? Would have been 6-1 at that point. Swings and foul tips that one into the glove of Lino. And what a swing in momentum that was He still was able to drive in a run. A bases loaded walk for Tse-Wei Lin in the second, but that's one of those things you write down on your scorecard and keep in mind as this game goes along. 0-2, 1-2.
Here comes that changeup. Changeup trying to get the chase down and away.
Fly ball to left. Frank Hernandez will settle under this one, and that will do it. The leadoff drop third strike does no damage as Chinese Taipei gone in order behind it. It's a one-run game through 3.5. We move into the bottom of the fourth inning on the final day of the 2025 World Baseball Classic Qualifier here in Taipei, and this is where things stand. The winner of tonight's game between second place Spain and third place Chinese Taipei will clinch the last of our 2 tickets to the 2026 World Baseball Classic. Huge congratulations to Sandor Guido and Nicaragua, moving on after a brilliant run through their 3 games here in Taiwan. And tonight, everything rests on these 9 innings or more between Chinese Taipei and Spain. And as we go into the bottom of the fourth, one of the most exciting arms in all of Taiwanese baseball takes to the pitcher's mound as the right-handed fireballer Roshi Shu is the first arm out of the bullpen. Roshi Shu came in a couple of days ago, Ryan, and went 96, 96, 94, 95, 97 in the one hitter that he faced. His nickname is Son of the Dragon.
Oh, that's an epic nickname.
Amazing, especially if you can throw 97.
Yeah.
He pitches for the Weishuan Dragons here in the CPBL, and this is the guy. Yesterday on Instagram, the Chinese Taipei official 2025 WBCQ account posted a video, and it was a series of snapshot images from the line drive back to the mound that he caught to end the one hitter that he faced a couple nights ago. The 2-2 to Colmenares misses away, and they set it to the Avengers theme, and the caption was just, "Our ace is coming."
Love it. He just goes right after hitters too. He's got that high RPM fastball, top of the strike zone.
Blows away Colmenares, 90 miles an hour on the off speed, and the first out.
And he pairs it with that right there, so he can live at the top of the strike zone. Talked about the RPM that's flashing up on the screen, very above average, especially when you have 97, and then all of a sudden break off that slider. No chance.
So that'll bring up the catcher, Gabrielino was waving and fishing after that off-speed delivery. And dancing out of the box, a little bit puzzled by it. Now, launching the bat. And it's 0-2. Ryan, when Shu came into the game the other day, we could tell, I mean, there was a different level of energy in this building when people knew that he was on the mound for the first time. Right. And you can feel it again tonight. This guy is as exciting of a young talent as is currently pitching here in Taiwan. 0-2 and a liner over to first. Nice grab by Pochuan Wong. It knuckled on him a bit, but he stays with it. 2 gone.
Yeah, that pitch 98. By the way, Lina, nice little approach. He gets 2 strikes, misses by a mile, loses the bat, and then gets 98. Puts a good swing on it, but one nice play right there on your toes, playing good defense. Just little things. We talked about this in the open, Tyler. When you're on the back foot, you're on your heels, you're not feeling that energy. Obviously, the pitching, getting deep counts, the defense starts to suffer. We saw that some big moments early on in this week. But man, the defense has come to play tonight.
Frank Hernandez out of the 9 spot, who has been outstanding. 5 for 5, sacrifice bunt.
Yeah, as good as this Chinese Taipei program is, obviously ranked 2nd in the world, the velocity, you don't see 97, 98 with that kind of secondary pitch a whole lot.
Especially from a guy who's not that big.
Right. Yeah, he's got some presence on the mound. Nice little walk-up song. I don't know what it is, but it gets the crowd fired up. Here he is, the strikes in again.
Bounced out to second. 3 up, 3 down. The son of the dragon debuts on this Tuesday night with an orderly 4th. We're going to the 5th in a 1-run game. The final night of the 2025 World Baseball Classic Qualifier in Taipei, but coming up this week in Tucson, Arizona. 4 more teams jump into the WBC fray to get qualified for the 2026 Classic. China, Germany, Brazil, Colombia. 4 squads who will square off in Tucson with 2 more tickets in the offing to the 2026 Classic.
Who you got, Tyler, out of that pool? Who's your pick?
I'm going to go Colombia, certainly, and I'm going to say Brazil out of those other 3. Brazil was really good. We saw them in Panama City in 2022.
Well, don't sleep on Germany. That's a decent squad.
Talent.
That's some former big league guys back in Regensburg when we got a chance to watch them.
Those qualifiers getting started on Tuesday. China and Germany in the opener, and then Brazil and Colombia. A little bit more normal time frame.
Yeah,
fans to tune in.
For sure. Yeah, this is a rough time zone switch. That's for sure.
Jason Chen, the leadoff man, and the captain grounds out to short. As the first man in here in the fifth, one away. Yeah, some really interesting rosters in that group in Tucson as Yu Chang will climb into the box. I mentioned Andre Agassi and Steffi Graf's son, Jaden Agassi, a former USC Trojan. He'll be on that roster pitching for Germany.
I mean, Germany had Bruce Maxwell on their last qualifying team behind the dish. Like, hold on, man, where's the lineage here? But you get all the backstories. When guys just like Andre Agassi's son, great book, by the way. Have you read that book?
I've not read that book.
Good book. I'll just drop that in.
Just throw out that you read a book.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but
1-2 pitch to Yu Chang, down 2 balls and 2 strikes. A couple other guys I'm excited to see on that Germany roster. Tristan Russell, who I saw play for Germany in the U15 Baseball World Cup in David, Panama, back when he was still a high school student. Former Major Leaguer Donald Lutz, wow, be on that Germany squad.
Lives in Australia.
Out in front of the plate, 2 gone.
Former Cincinnati Red. Now lives in Australia, played for the Brisbane Bandits for a long time. He's back in uniform. Good to see.
The veteran, Donald Lutz, another veteran, another former Australian Baseball League guy, Marcus Solbach. He'll be on that pitching staff for Germany. Yeah, some good talent on that Germany team. As with 2 gone and the bases empty, here's Nenting Wu.
I'll tell you what, Yudi Garcia, as we're talking about the qualifiers, it's going to be down in Tucson, but quietly, Yudi Garcia has put his team in a great spot. Because you have a situation, you get your starter, Rosso bounced out of there quickly. So all of a sudden, the wheels start turning. You know, the tone's kind of being set that way. All of a sudden, Garcia's picked up the pieces. With that pitch right there, that changeup, now all of a sudden he's in a 3-0 count.
He's only allowed 1 base runner since that bases loaded walk to Tzu-Wei Lin in the second. That was the first man that he faced. He will walk Nenting Wu here on 4 pitches. The only other base runner he allowed was that drop third strike leading off the 4th. 2-out life here for Chinese Taipei for Yujie Gao. All of a sudden the command kind of waning here for Garcia.
I spoke too soon. Again, 55 pitches. He can max out at 85. Don't worry about the 4-day rest now. He's 50 plus. It's out the window.
One pitch to Gao. Final line on Ramon Rosso in the start, by the way. Just an inning and a third. 3 runs, all of them earned on 5 hits. He struck out 2, he walked 1. Certainly not the dominance that we saw from him on Friday night.
Yeah, I think with Chinese Taipei just getting that second look, knowing that he's going to try and go at the top part of the strike zone. They're able to be disciplined enough to lay off the ones, let her high, get it in good counts, put it to sleep.
And a swing and a miss as Gao has gone on strikes, and Chinese Taipei will leave another one on board. That is 6 stranded through the first 4 innings of this one, and we head to the bottom half of the 5th inning. It's a 3-2 Chinese Taipei lead. That gentleman who you saw on your screen a moment ago was holding up a photo of sort of it's kind of a Taiwanese baseball inside joke. It's a guy, and I'm not sure who the guy is, but essentially he's the curse guy. If he's cheering for you, your team is going to lose. So somebody photoshopped the flag of Spain around him, and that's rocketed around social media here in Taiwan in recent days as Roshi Shu drills the first man with a pitch. And Andres Angulo is aboard. Got to break out all the stops.
Oh, yeah. You still haven't talked about the dice just yet.
I've not.
No, we haven't. We haven't seen it. That's why.
The dice.
Are we waiting till we see it again?
It's there in that first base dugout. They brought it out in the first inning or second inning. Yeah, the dice story is kind of a fun one. Is Angel Beltre. Good bunt, first base side. This is going to be trouble, and safe at first. Beltre beats it out. That was a miscommunication from the jump, and Spain is in business to get the fifth inning going.
Yeah, as soon as that trickled past the pitcher's shoe, you knew they were going to be in all kinds of trouble. Try and get a quick look at this.
It certainly looked from up here.
Yeah, I'm going to review
Lin. Wow. It looked like Lin's foot was off the bag by the time Beltre got there and the ball got into his glove, but we will see. Oh, man.
Tough to see right there with Wang.
The foot stayed on the bag longer than I thought it did. This might give us a look. Now, either way, Beltre was there first.
Here we go. It's a good look.
Yeah, the foot's there before the ball, so Chinese Taipei's challenge will go for now.
And Tyler, I said this the other night. You look at this, why would they review that? Well, because they don't have the same infrastructure behind the dugout like they do in the big leagues, where they have a whole video room. They have a, there we go, they're going to keep that call. They have a designated employee / coach behind there, giving them the instant, the quick review, because they're watching every play like a hawk. So sometimes you have to go off your gut, just like Chinese Taipei did right there.
So real dicey situation here for Roshi Shu. And an attempted bunt fouled at the plate by Wander Encarnacion.
For like 10, it only took him 10 seconds to have 2 runners on, no one out.
Yeah, the hit batsman Angulo on the second pitch of the inning. Third pitch of the inning, the bunt single. And Roshi Shu, this is a big stage in this game. Cut and miss from Encarnacion. It's 0-2. Took the sacrifice bunt off after one attempt.
Well, tough guy to bunt against as well, Shu. We talked about that fastball at the top of the strike zone with that plus RPM, that good spin on that 97. Tough guy to bunt against.
Ground ball out to second. Could be 2. Chang to the bag for 1. Lin's return throw. 6-4-3. 2 gone. The tying run moves to scoring position. Moves to third, I should say. But a big double play here in the 5th.
Now you got a steady dose of sliders in that at bat, and it paid dividends because you get that ground ball double play. And just as quick as you had 2 runners on, no one out, now all of a sudden 2 out with a runner at third base.
Talking with a member of the Spain coaching staff earlier today and asking about Wander Encarnacion, and said, you know, he is a great bat-to-ball guy, but there's not a lot elsewhere in his skill set that, you know, would have landed him an affiliated contract, for example. And one of the things, as Coach pointed out, is he doesn't have a lot of speed. And you can see there, Encarnacion was the ideal double play candidate for Chinese Taipei, and that's a big one. And now it's no balls and 2 strikes on Ustaris. The son of the dragon, Roshi Shu, trying to finish off a dangerous 5th. 0-2. Got him! The Taipei Dome is alive in a 1-run game. We're headed to the 6th. Top half of the 6th inning, the leadoff man for Chinese Taipei is Shun. It'll be 7, 8, and 9 for the host squad. The visiting team here today on this Tuesday night at a raucous Taipei Dome. Final game of the World Baseball Classic 2025 qualifier here in Taipei. Tyler Mon, Ryan Rowland-Smith. Shun 1 for 2 with a run scored so far today. Man, it really felt out of the gates like it was going to be a night for the bats. 2 runs in the first for Chinese Taipei, 1 for Spain. Chinese Taipei with a run in the second, Spain responding with a run. And since then, I don't know how many more fingernails there are to chew in this building, but it has been tense, tight, hard-fought baseball as we move into the top of the 6th, and a liner back up the middle, past the dive of Edison Valerio and into center, a leadoff single. Chinese Taipei with its first hit against Yuri Garcia, and its first hit since the 2nd inning.
Yeah, Tyler, we've talked all about some of these young pitchers for Chinese Taipei, especially Shu that last inning. Absolute ice in his veins. But what about Yuri Garcia? We talked about this last inning. He started to slip a little bit, that command started to go, maybe a little bit of mental fatigue. He's gone in and out of the dugout since the 2nd inning. By the way, when you're in the bullpen, especially when you're coming up after Rosa, who was so dominant.
Steal attempt and safe at second. They baited Spain with the bunt, shifted the defense around, and Shun bolting from first is into second.
And this is where I'm getting at with Yuri Garcia. He comes in, has to be ready to go in the 2nd inning. Every time he goes in that dugout, they're like, hey, you good to go? You good to go? And so they're starting to stretch him, but this is where he's going to make his money right here. Running scoring position, 65 pitches deep.
And a perfect bunt third base side. Oh, and it's thrown away! Up the right field line, it'll bring Chun in! And into second base goes Xiaoheng Zheng! Chinese Taipei extends the lead. It's 4-2 in the 6th.
And we haven't seen this from Spain. That lapse, that focus, the defense has been rock solid. Man, that is crucial, Tyler. How many times in this qualifier have we talked about how many bunts have gone down, the little things that you do to win games? And man, all of a sudden throwing the ball away. 4-2, this place is rocking right now.
Another bunt to third, Valerio again, and throws it away again! Rounding third and scoring is Zheng, and Chinese Taipei has added 2 on back-to-back errors by Wander Encarnacion.
Wow. That's what they call the yips. Ladies and gentlemen, they can come at you quick when you're anchoring on that error you made. And you can see him. This will haunt him for a long time after this, the way this game's going here in the 6th.
Oh, that is crushing to see. Wander Encarnacion literally in tears now, crouched behind third.
And like I said, you're anchoring on the big mistake that, by the way, he has been rock solid. How many nice plays has he made to save runs in this qualifier, especially down that hot corner at third base? Then all of a sudden, your brain is stuck on that one mistake. You can hear the noise, the decibel level gets louder. And then guess what? Comes at you again. Wow, 5-2 Chinese Taipei.
Man, that just breaks your heart. Seeing Wander Encarnacion in tears over at third. As we're back at the top of the order, and Koshwan Wong. Man, Ryan, you're right. I mean, Wander Encarnacion, Spain is not in this position without Wander Encarnacion. Right. He has been incredible in this qualifier. But now, in one of the biggest moments, back-to-back errors charged to the Spain rock-solid third baseman, and Chinese Taipei has capitalized with 2 runs home.
Man, I've had teammates at all different levels where that's happened to, all of a sudden they just get that little instant dose of the yips throwing the bases.
This is going to be a tough play over on the first base side, and a good job by Yudi Garcia to just make that play himself, one away.
You almost want to, just back to Encarnacion, you almost want to like run an iPad out there with all the plays he's made in the last couple of days. Say, hey, listen, you're all good. Look what you're capable of, because you're right, Tyler. You can just feel for him. But hey, listen, 40,000 people have absolutely shown no mercy.
Ryan, we said between innings, the bottom of the fifth felt like the hinge moment in this game. Spain got runners at first and second on the first 3 pitches of the inning, and Roshi Shu was able to get out of it with nothing across. And now all of a sudden, Chinese Taipei has come to life here in the top half of the sixth. It just felt like that strikeout, especially of Ustari's to end the inning, and the way this place exploded, that changed the entire dynamic.
Yeah, and we didn't get a chance really because it happened so quick. Talking about the young Shu, the son of the dragon, as they call him here. That's a big test. It's a huge test, and that's stuff that can carry weight throughout the rest of your career, especially when you represent your country.
That's Daniel Alvarez throwing in the Spain bullpen right now. So Wei Lin takes strike 1.
Tyler, you almost have to wonder, in the back of Su Wei Lin, former big leaguer, is he thinking, you know, I'm just going to bunt down to third base once again?
Yeah, after that second error, you felt like, man, you might as well just try to feast on it now.
Yep, absolutely.
And a check swing there, called strike 2. Encarnacion is back off the third base bag, and they're shifted around. Shift limitations are on, so Edison Valerio has to stay on the third base side of the second base bag, but Ian Carlos Colmenares shifted over toward the first base line. 3-2 pitch, Lin to second, Colmenares 2 away. And advances Sung to third.
And look, with everything we've seen, Encarnacion shaking his head. Again, I'm going back to Yudi Garcia right now. He's getting deep in this game. He had to be asked to pitch in the second inning after Rosso got bounced out. He has been really good, but nothing to show for it with those two errors here in the sixth.
Jason Chen is trying to pull off the shock bunt hit here with 2 outs.
I don't blame him. I mean, again, that man right there, knock it down to it. He's dealing with it right now. The old yips. Tyler, you ever dealt with the yips?
Not me. I was never good enough. My arm's just terrible enough as it is. I didn't need to deal with the yips. 0-1. Chen skies it to left. Frank Hernandez is there, and that will bring the top half of the sixth inning to a close. But Chinese Taipei capitalizes on a couple of errors and extends the lead. We go to the bottom of the sixth inning, and Chinese Taipei is out in front, 5-2. Some crazy game-swinging momentum changes have Chinese Taipei out in front as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, and Roosevelt Estrada will lead things off for Spain. 2 runs on 2 errors in the top of the 6th for Chinese Taipei, and all of a sudden a 3-run lead, but a ball crushed to left field, and Roosevelt Estrada provides an answer for Spain. Gone! It's 5-3. Listen to this ovation for a home run that came off the bat at 115 miles an hour. That is in the 99th percentile of exit velocity for home runs in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, and you hear that soft round of applause. Estrada sitting on the slider right here. He was watching that last inning, especially in the on-deck circle, and said, you know what? I'm going to get a slider early on, at least one. I'm going to sit on this pitch and just unleashed. Man, especially too with this crowd being very quiet while Spain's been hitting. You could hear that echo through the Taipei Dome. Ball was rushed.
Man, and Ryan, what a way, as now a line drive back up the middle into center field, and Edison Valerio delivers a single behind the homer, and Spain will bring the tying run to the plate here in the 6th. And what I was going to say a second ago, for Roosevelt Estrada, that's a moment where you go into the dugout, you go grab your third baseman, Wander Encarnacion, and say, I got you.
Absolutely. Yeah, just try and generate any kind of vibe you can. And you can see him, look at that. He's had about 5 or 6, I've been watching from up here, off camera. 5 or 6 teammates basically counsel him in this half inning. He is so crucial to this team, and I'll say it again. The defense he has played leading up to this point has been crucial to get Spain to this point.
So Carlos Colmenares will bat out of the 7th spot in the order, 1 for 2 today with a single and the run scored in the 2nd.
And I'll say this too, we talked a little bit because, we're talking to some scouts who were like just kind of, picking up on Encarnacion, where his career's kind of derailed. He's gone into some obscurity when you talk about professional baseball around the world. That's the other part too, from an individual standpoint. Yes, it means so much for your country and to qualify and all that. But from an individual standpoint, you're in a situation where teams are starting to, professional teams are starting to pay attention, and then you do something like that, it completely can take you off their list.
0-2 pitch. Colmenares called out on strike 3. 1 away. That is the 3rd strikeout in the relief appearance for Roshi Shu, and a big first out in the 6th.
Yeah, and the split that time, he's staying away from that fastball. I get it, he's pitching backwards a little bit, and it's good to see him commanding multiple pitches, but get back to that 96, 97, straight through that catcher's mask, see what happens.
So here is Gabriel Lino out of the 8th spot. Brian, one other thing that has kind of surfaced tonight, the high strikes are getting called. We've seen a couple of called strike 3s on pitches up above the belts. That's something that these hitters are becoming increasingly cognizant of, with Mark Stewart behind the plate. Those high fastballs, high strikes are going to play.
Go after him, kid. Conviction, top of the strike zone. Get that swing and miss.
1-2 now on Lino.
I mean, steady though, slider, split, slider, split.
Gabriel Lino, big homer earlier in this qualifier for his team. And an anxious.
Here comes that hitter, top of the strike zone.
Bao Ju Sung, the manager in that first base dugout, watching his young right-hander. Kicks and deals 1-2.
Tried to do too much. So the velocity slip a little bit. Missed that spot. I'm going right back up there.
Two-two, swing and a miss. Well, Well, the defensive struggles tonight for Wander Encarnacion are not the full picture. This guy has been outstanding for this Spain team in the field all qualifier long.
Yeah, Tyler, one thing you'll notice is runners all over the place when he's making some of these plays. Again, that's only two. There's been a bunch, and again, in crucial spots.
Yeah, helping to bail his team out of really tight situations. Encarnacion's going to get at least one more chance at the plate tonight. He's 4 hitters away right now. As Frank Hernandez takes the 1-0 up and in. Kind of a power take there. The Juan Soto-esque body language as he stares out at Roshi Shu.
Shu's starting to get fatigued a little bit. That man can see it.
Weipeng Lin. Daddy Pie, Ryan's favorite nickname of this Chinese Taipei coaching staff.
Yeah, you've got the son of the dragon talking to Daddy Pie. I mean,
with the Minister of Defense out of short.
Love it. I'll take son of the dragon.
That like is among the coolest nicknames ever. Son of the kangaroo for you would be.
Yeah. Epic. Can we make that a thing?
Yeah, let's make that a thing.
Thank you.
3 balls and no strikes now on Frank Hernandez. Roshi Shu, as we have noted, one of the most impressive young arms in Taiwanese baseball, but not a lot of experience, to be honest. He's pitched in 45 games in his career, and he's dealt with a lot of injuries. Missed all of 2022 with injury. Pitched just 5 games in 2023. And now, has the tying run aboard with his team out in front by 2 here in the 6th on the 2-out walk to Hernandez. When we go back to the top of the order, and Andres Angulo.
Yeah, they're stretching him as long as they possibly can right now. Hoping he's got that ice back in his veins, just like that 5th inning.
Angulo goes first pitch swing after the walk and skies his way out to Sheshan Chen in center. And Spain strands 2 in the 6th. We go to the 7th. Chinese Taipei hanging on to a 2-run lead at the Dome. New arm to the game for Spain as we head into the top half of the 7th inning at the Taipei Dome. Vicente Campos will take over on the pitcher's mound, just the 2nd reliever that we have seen today. Terrific work out of the bullpen this evening for Yuri Garcia. Although the defense, a struggle in the top half of the 6th. Chinese Taipei taking advantage. for a couple of runs. As we head into the top half of the 7th inning, we are locked in a good one between Chinese Taipei and Spain. Yu Chang leads things off alongside the son of the kangaroo, Ryan Roland Smith. My name is Tyler Mon. Hanging out.
I mean, technically, I'd be called Joey, right? I mean,
that's true. That's not nearly as cool.
Yeah. No, actually, you know, the best rugby league player ever on the planet is from Newcastle, my hometown. His nickname is Joey. Joey John,
Okay.
Andrew Johns. There you go. So I don't want to take his nickname. Anyone listening in Australia, I promise you, I'm not trying to.
Yu Chang smashes one down the left field line. That's off the wall. Played quickly by Hernandez. Chang digging for second base, and he's in there with a leadoff double in the 7th.
And Tyler, this is big for multiple reasons. You felt that momentum. See the dice back out. But you see that momentum slowly kind of shift a little bit. You had that big 115-mile-per-hour ex velo home run from Spain last inning. And here comes the Ministry of Defense, Yu Chang, bringing that momentum right back into that Chinese Taipei dugout.
He just lives for the big moment, man. That is his 2nd double of the night. And a liner to right field. That'll hang up long enough for Andres Angulo to get to it. And Yenting Wu, solid contact, but he's out number 1 in the 7th.
Now this is where that Spain bullpen has to mix and match. Get through some of these bridge innings before you get to those back end guys. Reiner Cruz, who didn't look too good where we saw him early on in the week. So Nelson Prada's got some work to do, try and navigate to keep themselves in this game.
Visit to the mound from Gabriel Lino.
Yeah, I think this is a chance to get that bullpen cranked up a little bit. It's come at him quick, this Spain team.
And now Hao Ju Sung will summon a pinch hitter from his bench. So the DH Yuche Gao will take a seat, and it will be Jia Wei Lin, one of the outfielders on this roster, member of the Uni-President 7-11 Lions here in the CPBL in Taiwan. Left-handed bat. Goes after the first pitch and comes up empty, 0-1.
Good changeup right there from Campos, cousin of Ronald Acuna Jr. He's pitching 1 game in the big leagues for the Diamondbacks.
0-1. Lin gets under it. Shallow right center, and no chance for Chang to advance. So Chinese Taipei in danger of stranding the leadoff double, as the task will fall to Wen-Jie Chun, the left fielder. Chun spits on the first one. It's a ball and no strikes. Wen-Jie Chun, so far tonight, 2 for 3, 2 runs scored, a stolen base, out of the 7th spot in the order. Trying to get this back to a 3-run lead. Infield shifted around on him again, with Valerio still to the shortstop side of the second base bag, but Encarnacion kind of alone on the left side of the infield. 2-0, and got under another one. Almost the same spot out there in shallow right center. It's a long run in, and Beltre finally gets there to put it away. Colmenares was fighting the roof, but it is the center fielder, Beltre, to make the grab, and Chinese Taipei strands that leadoff double. We're headed to the bottom of the 7th inning, 5-3, Chinese Taipei leads. the 7th inning, and the right-hander Roshi Shu is still out there for Chinese Taipei as we move into the bottom of 7. It'll be Angel Beltre leading things off, then Wander Encarnacion, and then Jesus Ustaris. Ryan, you surprised to see Shu still there?
Absolutely. And look, last couple pitches, again, pitching backwards with that split and that slider, but this is a big chance for Spain. We know about the middle of that lineup, and Shu is essentially running out of gas. Plus, they've seen him multiple times. They've seen him from the on-deck circle, the dugout. They kind of have a little bit of a roadmap against him. This is a big spot for Spain right now.
1-2 pitch to Beltre. Beltre today has been on in all 3 of his trips to the plate. Single and a run scored in the 1st, intentional walk in the 2nd, and then a bunt single in the 5th. Man, this has been one heck of a fun game of baseball. He will not reach in his 4th trip to the plate. Strikeout number 5 for Roshi Shu. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of World Baseball Classic Incorporated. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. So that will bring up Wander Encarnacion, who takes the first pitch for ball 1. Encarnacion has not had an easy night. 1 for 3 at the plate, grounded into a double play in the 5th inning, and then committed 2 crucial throwing errors in the top of the 6th. That, if you are just joining us, left him in tears behind the 3rd base bag, alone on that left side of the infield. He was the loneliest man in the baseball world in the 6th inning, but always an opportunity to redeem yourself. And he gets his shot here in the 7th. Weipeng Lin quickly out to talk things over with Shu. And yeah, it has just felt like the command has started to go, and it's an early time of the year. Ryan, there are arms working. There you see the big league legend, Chen-Ming Wang, on the left of your screen, the bullpen coach for this Chinese Taipei team.
Yeah, it's amazing. And when you get to the end of your rope, I know it's only 47 pitches, but we are, like you said, February. But sometimes it's just that 1 pitch per at-bat you have to get over. And I think with Shu, the last at-bat against Beltre, which is a tough matchup. You're in the 7th inning. You're starting to fatigue. He's able to execute that split to finish him off. That pitch has kind of been floating a little bit, been a little flat.
And you would think that's going to be it for Roshi Shu, a 4-pitch walk.
Right. Again, a little surprised. By the way, too, you watch him, you're like, okay, how much pro interest has he had from the United States? I think one thing that's maybe sort of knocked that down a little bit, simmered that attention, is the fact he had TJ a couple of years ago. But this is going to be it. Man, he was impressive, though. 49 pitches deep and pitching in the 7th inning.
Throwing his heart out on this Tuesday night in the Taipei Dome. The guy who they posted on Instagram yesterday as the Avenger coming to save the day for Chinese Taipei. A heck of a night in relief for the son of the dragon, Roshi Shu. And he will exit to that 1st base dugout as Chinese Taipei will go to the bullpen for just the 2nd time tonight. New arm into the game, Lee Sun, when we return. New arm into the game for Chinese Taipei as we move along in the bottom of the 7th inning is another one of the most exciting young arms in baseball here on this island, and actually where he pitches professionally is not on this island. A member of the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters in Nippon Professional Baseball in Japan, Lee Soon. First pitch high for ball 1 to Jesus Ustaris, who functions as the tying run in the batter's box. Here in the 7th inning, already mid-90s heat from Soon.
Yeah, 20 years old, hasn't pitched yet in these qualifiers. And again, I know he's pitched in Japan, it's a tough league. I'm sure he's pitched in front of a lot of crowds, but nothing like this situation here in the 7th.
2-0 bends in there for strike 1.
Snap that off 2-0, it's impressive.
Lee Soon made his debut in NPB last year at 19 years old. Put up a 3.86 ERA in 15 games, 24 strikeouts, just 8 walks. He had an amazing U18 Baseball World Cup in 2023 on home soil here in Taipei. That one just misses the inside part of the plate, and it's 3-1 on Ustaris. Signed for the Fighters and was in camp with the Fighters in Okinawa. Had been there since early February, came back here for the first international tournament in his young career at this level.
Tyler, look, we've talked about this the last couple of days, especially in the Open. I know they've been in control of this game all day long. It's 5-3 right now. 7th inning, you got a 20-year-old. Yep, a 20-year-old on the mound for you right now in a 3-1 count. And think about it, right? When you go from the Premier 12 with your A squad, your boys, then you want to give them some rest. You flip this lineup, this roster over to a lot of young players, especially on the pitching side. And I got no problem watching the son of the dragon going out there pumping 97, don't get me wrong. But man, you talk about rolling the dice.
3-2 pitch is high for ball 4, and it's 1st and 2nd, and the go-ahead run will bat in the 7th now. Back-to-back walks issued by Shu and Soon. And the guy coming to the plate hit a ball 115 miles an hour just last inning to cut this thing back to a 2-run game.
And this is tough, man. You mentioned the fact he joined the team late. You know, first time pitching on this mound here on the Taipei Dome. Trying to get your sights, the game speeds up quick. Not to mention the fact, Tyler, he's 20 years old. And look, sometimes that can work in your favor, right? Like some guys who I play with in the early days of minor league baseball, they're so oblivious to a situation, they just go out and do their thing. But it's different over here when you're playing for Chinese Taipei, your country, on home soil. There's pressure on you. You're playing over in the NPB. They all know it's one of the best leagues on the planet.
Roosbear Estrada, solo homer last time up, and crushes one to center. Shouldn't say crushed, it sounded crushed, but it's gonna drop down for a base hit all the same. And they are loaded up with 1 out for Edison Valerio.
I just heard a pin drop out there in right center field in the upper decks. I'm telling you. Goes with the changeup and just parachutes this little single into left center field.
Wei Peng Lin out of the first base dugout. He's getting his steps in over the last couple innings. Ryan, you touched on that Premier 12 staff and the roster, but the pitching staff especially, and how Chinese Taipei really gambled in going so young with this World Baseball Classic roster. I did the math earlier today. That Premier 12 pitching staff, average age 27.7 years old. They put up a 1.80 staff ERA over the course of Premier 12. That was over a half run better than Venezuela, which had the next best staff ERA. This time around, this roster, 23.1 years old, the average arm. Their ERA, 6 even coming into tonight. First pitch to Edison Valerio, in tight for ball one. And man, right now, Eli Soon is walking the high wire with the tying run in scoring position and the go-ahead run over at first. And these fans about ready to throw up from the anxiety in this building. Fighters, right-handers 1-0, in tight, nope, on the corner, evens it up.
Now, I'll tell you what, when you don't have your field and you're 20 years old and you're asked to throw this many change-ups, this many secondary pitches with nowhere to put Valerio in this spot.
Two and one.
Yeah, Tyler, you mentioned a 6 ERA coming into this game, 307 batting average against. A lot of base runners, 1.5 base runners per innings pitched.
Two-one pitch to Valerio. 3 balls and a strike. He's tried to pound the inner part of the zone. He's only gotten 1 call there.
Again with that changeup.
One of the biggest pitches of this game coming up right here. On the way to Valerio. Strike 2.
Look at that sequence. Kicks off a fastball 97, then nothing but steady dose of changeups.
What are you throwing here in this spot?
He's gonna get changeup for sure.
3-2 pitch. Called strike 3! Froze him at 83 miles an hour for a massive second out in the 7th.
And look, Spain's done such a good job of putting you on the ropes and making you pay when you slip behind the count. But all of a sudden, that hesitation, you've got to be swinging in that situation. And you asked me what he was going to pitch. I said changeup. He did. However, that was on a beeline to the plate. You have to be swinging, even if you're way out in front. That pitch is, it's got to be swung out right there.
First offering upstairs to Carlos Colmenares. Xiao Hung Jung, frustrated, held that there for a while.
And the difference between a changeup and a slider in that situation, you can pick up the spin early if you're hitting. So if it's a 3-2 count, like, all right, I'm going to try and pick up some spin and react. With a changeup, doesn't matter.
Wow. Big hack there from Colmenares at 94, and he swings through it.
Yeah, that's one pitch Colmenares has struggled with, is that fastball belt and north of the belt. If he gets a changeup right here, out over the plate, he might do some damage.
Here's the 1-1. 1-2. Colmenares got rung up on a high strike 3 in his last trip to the plate for the first out of the 6th inning. Trying to deliver with the bases loaded and 2 gone in the 7th.
Going back to that fastball. Climb the ladder.
Eli Soon, 1-2. Got him! Eli Soon gets out of the jam. 5-3 going to the 8th. 1-1 as we head to the top half of the 8th inning. The catcher, Xiao Hengjiang, will lead things off for Chinese Taipei against Spain's right-hander, Vicente Campos, who is on for his second inning of work in a 2-run game in this electric atmosphere here at the Taipei Dome. Back in our, I don't want to say little, but our compact broadcast booth.
Cozy.
Tyler Mon, Ryan Roland-Smith.
No, hang on. In real estate, yeah, when they're trying to say
Yeah.
What's the word they use?
Yeah, cozy is always a good one.
Yeah.
Fly ball off the bat of Chang out to left. Frank Hernandez coming in, but it's Edison Valerio, the shortstop, who makes the grab, backpedaling one away. It's been a tight game, and, you know, thankfully so. We would not want to have anything else for a winner-take-all Game 7 of the World Baseball Classic Qualifier, as you get another look at that Ilay Sun strikeout. The emotion from these guys, amazing.
Right, that man right there in the middle of your screen. And then soon, we've talked about the inexperience, 20 years old. But man, I'm telling you, we have seen some serious ice in veins performance when it matters on this last day of the qualifiers from Chinese Taipei. Completely flipped the script on us.
And wow, we've got a replacement defensively. Wander Encarnacion out of this game. Carlos Colmenares slides over to third, and Edgar Rondon is in at second. You know, it's, to borrow a dumb sports movie line, there's a reason why, and the Water Boy dropped that line last day of the season. Can't hold anything back now. I mean, that's really, there is nothing after tomorrow.
Yeah.
And if you are Nelson Prada, you can't risk Wander Encarnacion being out there right now. I think more than anything, it's the mental state. Encarnacion crushed after those errors,
100%.
but that's a risk right now.
Right, and that's the conversation you have with Nelson Prada, with Encarnacion in the dugout, in between innings, around his at-bats.
That looks like it's a hit by pitch as Chung-Rae Sung trying to get in front of that ball, and it might have glanced off his back.
But they're the conversations that you have, and you can, look, Encarnacion's not going to be in the dugout saying, oh, hey, take me out, please. Right. He wants to stay in this game. But that's where you got to read, that's where you got to know your players. All the lead up leading into this, you know, the hitting sessions with Adam Jones, all the way back in Spain, coming over these you get to know these players and in a short amount of time. Speaking of Nelson Prada, it looks like they're going to challenge this.
Yeah, game speed. I didn't see that hit Sung, but it's pretty clear here on this replay.
But just with, look, we talked about this with the South African team a couple days ago, essentially being the last chance for them to play at this level. Now, Encarnacion, if they don't qualify, is this going to be the way it's going to end for him in regards to playing for Spain in the international level?
And still a younger guy, just 25.
Right, but you never know.
Right, exactly, I mean, especially by 4 years from now.
Right.
That is a confirmed hit batsman, and it'll send us back to the top of the order and Pochuan Wong. But I just wanted to point out, it's been a close game. We wouldn't have it any other way, but there has not been like a lull in this game in which we could describe the couples massage that we went to yesterday on our off day.
Wow, you're really going there, huh?
I wouldn't forgive myself.
I'm not even going to.
If I didn't bring it up.
Even provide color to this conversation, but you go ahead and explain yourself, please. You put me out there.
Wong, runner off from first. Wong swinging to protect him, and a stolen base for Chung-Rae Sung. It's the off day yesterday. We decided, you know, some days you gotta treat yourself. We've had 3 straight days of broadcast doubleheaders. Ryan and I decided there's a really nice, we went down to the desk at our hotel, really nice spa across the street. They recommended, said it's great, it's clean, they're snappy, you don't need a reservation to get in, you just walk in. So we go in, great deal on a massage, fantastic. But we walked in at the same time, and they
made it very clear.
That one gets away from Lino, who can't find it, and it puts Sung at third on the wild pitch.
Man, again, we talked about the depth in both of these bullpens. The fatigue that sets in starts to get loud. You just had a situation where you got some momentum going back in your favor, where you're starting to feel like you're getting something going offensively. You don't want to give up another run right here.
Big spot here for Poshwan Wong, and inside it hit him as well. 2 hit batsmen in the inning. Now Sung is going to have to go back to third, but Poshwan Wong will take first base, and it's runners at the corners with 1 out, and Siwei Lin coming to the plate.
Oh, right off the toe, and again, by the way, kind of lucky, fortunate they got that big toe, because that ball was going straight to the backstop. Here comes Nelson Prado.
And it looks like that will do it for Vicente Campos, who stranded that leadoff double in the 7th, but is running out of gas here in the 8th. And Nelson Prado is going to have to go to the bullpen once more. The 3rd arm into this game for Spain's relief corps potentially. Although this may just be a conversation, as Prado didn't reach for the ball. And talking things over with Campos, Vicente is going to stay in this game. So there is work in the Spain bullpen at the moment, but Campos will stick it out and go to work against Siwei Lin. 1st and 3rd and 1 gone. So there we are. We walk in, the lady says 2 massages, and I said, yeah, but I mean separately.
Please, yeah, she laughed. I was like, we're walking in together. I was like, no, yeah, no couples massage here, please.
So then there we are, 5 minutes later, being led into this room. And I said, well, we got separate rooms? And she said, no. And then we had to have a massage in the same room, which was, you know, it was fine. And music on, it was fine. But it was, we're definitely in a weird stage of a broadcast duo.
That's right.
After all these years. Siwei Lin bounces the 1-0 foul. And it's 1-1. But man, these international events and the places you get to go and the experiences you get to have and the fans you get to watch have a day like this, they are letting all of that nervous energy out right now as the 1-1 lifted out down the left field line, slicing toward the line and pulled in out there, tagging at third, headed for the plate is Sung, and he scores! And moving up behind him, Poshwan Wong. That is great base running by Chinese Taipei, and it's back to a 3-run game.
And you have to ask yourself, in this situation with Chinese Taipei being in absolute control, if you're Frank Hernandez, not that you are 100% certain that this is in foul territory unless you have a glance, but you don't want to take your eyes off this ceiling, off the ball because of the ceiling. You let that ball go foul. But on the flip side of that, with Campos pitching, he hasn't really had that big strikeout pitch, that big swing and miss. So you take care of the out.
Man, the big thing on that, I mean, obviously scoring the run is huge, but the fact that Poshwan Wong went to second, he's in scoring position now for Cheshen Chen. The 1-0 swung on and missed. Chun has not delivered that big signature moment that we kind of expected from him coming in. The guy who was the captain, he's been very good, but in these big moments with runners on, at times, he has been hunting pitches that aren't there. Tonight, he is 1 for 4, a single and a run scored in the 1st. 2-1 count for him here in the 8th.
It's been a limp to the finish line for this Chinese Taipei team. Nothing like they were expecting, especially coming off that Premier 12 victory against Japan, upsetting the powerhouse Japan. But you know what? 6 outs away, that can all be forgotten quick.
2-2. Foul down the left field line.
And this is where you're going to be careful against Chen, who you talked about hasn't had that big moment. His approach is going to try and flip this ball into left field. So Campos, if you're going to be down and away, that's going to be that spot for Chen. Hit that ball into left field.
Campos over 30 pitches now as well. He has hit 2 men in this inning. And I mean, he is laboring. Drenched in sweat, Yu Chang waiting in the on-deck circle. Trying to get his opportunity. 3-2. At the first base side, what a play by Ustaris to knock it down, and racing to the bag. He gets there ahead of the fleet-footed Chen. And that will do it for Chinese Taipei in the 8th. But the host squad adds a run, and we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Chinese Taipei's got a 3-run lead. Here's the full picture of the 2026 World Baseball Classic as we get closer and closer to finding out our second qualifier from here in Taiwan. 4 pools for next year's edition of the Classic: San Juan, Puerto Rico, Houston, Tokyo, and Miami. The 4 qualifying teams, 2 from here in Taipei and 2 in Tucson, will be placed into those pools based on the final results after next week's qualifier in Tucson wraps up. And we will know the full field of 20 teams set for the 2026 Classic. Back inside the Taipei Dome, Tyler Mon, Ryan Rowland-Smith, Gabriel Lino spinning out of the way of that pitch, and the ceremonial apology, taking the hat off to say, didn't mean to almost drill you there. Lee Sun, we should clarify one thing about Lee Sun. He made his debut in Japan last year at 19. That was in the NPB minor leagues in the Japanese Eastern League in the Nippon Ham Fighters organization. As a leadoff ground out, Gabriel Lino is retired. Lino 0 for 3 tonight. He's been a big bat out of the lower spots in the order, but fruitless this evening, and that'll bring up Frank Hernandez. But still, Ryan, I mean, to be able to trust these big innings to guys who are 19, 20, 24, I mean, this has been really amazing stuff. And it sort of validates the trust that Hao Ju-sung and the CTBA, the Chinese Taipei Baseball Association, have had in this young roster. But I think you can only say that if they finish this game off, because otherwise you look at it and think, this was a big risk that did not pay off.
Yeah, like I said last half inning, all is forgotten with how they got here, because, man, it was not smooth sailing just a couple days ago. And again, going into this, one of the things they talked about when we had a chance to talk to the coaching staff, they said, well, look, we've got, once we get to the World Baseball Classic, we've essentially got 2 rosters to make up our team. A bunch of young players that we want to get to know, a lot of them playing in the United States or in Japan. And then we also have our veteran roster who did all kinds of damage in November last year in the Premier 12. And so it just creates, it allows that next generation of players here in Chinese Taipei to get comfortable at this level. But man, it's so risky. And I even said to the manager on day one when we had a chance to start. I said, is this a little risky?
2-2, shot in the air to right, racing in, Sung a dive, and this one does get past him. Around first, Hernandez will head to second, and he's in there with a one-out double.
I lost his belt. Victim to the AstroTurf. I tell you what, Spain, plenty of chances, so much traffic all game. 9 hits, just the 3 runs.
They've left 10 on base to this point. Just 2 hits with runners in scoring position. And Ryan, yeah, I mean, to your credit, that was your question, first question for Hao Ju-sung on our first day here.
And there was a part of me, I'm like, oh, is this disrespectful to be asking? Because, you know, look, we're doing it through a translator. You want to make sure that I'm not, you know, second guessing his decision whatsoever. But I had to ask, I'm like, wow, like, because, you know, we were doing our prep, you know, the whole crew who, you know, everyone working hard from the researchers back at Secaucus to the crew working on this game, everyone working hard to prep for this game, this tournament. And as soon as I got that research pack, I'm like, hold on a minute.
I remember you texted me and said, wait, there's seriously only, at that time, 2 returning guys from Premier 12. One of those guys ended up dropping off. That's Lyle Lin, who was signed to a minor league deal by the athletics organization, one of the catchers. And to Hao Ju-sung's credit, he admitted, yeah, this is risky. And
he gave his bike analogy.
He did.
Give it to us.
The first 3 nights, I mean, it looked as though it was not going to work out, but maybe this is the time. His analogy was, you know, as a parent, you want to teach your kid how to ride a bike. You stand there with your hand on the back of the bicycle. You make sure that they learn how to do it as Angulo launches one foul. But gradually, you have to let them do it. And you know that they're going to fall. You know that it's not going to be easy for them, but that's the only way they can learn. That's sort of what this is. And man, if it plays out tonight that Chinese Taipei wins this game, that is as apt of an analogy as anyone could have ever come up with, because this is the night that he lets go of the bike, and they're cycling right now. 1-2 pitch, Angulo, a bouncer on a good hop to third. Yenting Wu, 2 away.
The one thing I know when I was teaching Lennox and Kennedy how to ride a bike, going down the cul-de-sac, you know, what was that stake? Qualifying to the World Baseball Classic.
Not quite as much pressure.
Right. But hey, look, 4 outs away now from that, essentially paying dividends, and all forgotten.
So it brings up NL Beltre. He has been aboard 3 times tonight, singled and scored in the first, intentionally walked in the second, a bunt single in the 5th, struck out in his last trip to the plate, and he takes strike 1. Lee Sun in the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters organization came here for a chance to pitch on this stage. And he's 1 out away from getting his team into the 9th with a lead. One to Beltre. Swing and a miss.
That's nasty right there.
His confidence has been so apparent. It really felt like, you pointed out 1 pitch last inning for him, and it's felt like ever since that, Sun is feeling it now.
Yeah.
He's ready to go on 1-2. Buries it to Beltre.
Charles, that's a great point, because the best players in the game, what separates the legends Major League Baseball, the guys who had those kind of careers, Kershaw, Verlander, is what they do with runners on. What do they do when they're on the ropes? Look at their numbers with runners in scoring position. That's the separator, and that's what these young pitchers have shown. They've been in traffic, absolute ice in their veins.
Beltre up the first base side, diving and knocked down by Wong, who's got it. Lee Sun, incredible work as Spain strands another one. And we go to the 9th. Chinese Taipei closing in on saving its World Baseball Classic dreams.
to the 9th. It is a lead for the host squad, Chinese Taipei. Crucial runs off of defensive miscues by Spain in the 6th. A run in the 7th that was preceded by 2 hit batsmen, a stolen base, a wild pitch, a sacrifice fly. Chinese Taipei taking advantage of Spain's mistakes tonight and riding a 3-run lead here into the top of the 9th as the legend Yu Chang leads things off for his team. It'll be the middle third of the order as Chang works here against Daniel Alvarez, who's into the game in relief of Vicente Campos. Yu Chang tonight, 2 doubles and 4 trips. And he grounds the 1-2 over to third. Picked on the backhand there by Colmenares, whose throw will beat Chang, 1 gone. Remember, a change defensively for Spain. Wander Encarnacion pulled from this game as, speaking of great defense, Bo Xuan Wang somehow able to spear that ball and hustle it to first for the final out of the 8th inning. Chinese Taipei has been flashing the leather tonight. And Ryan, it just felt like for the first 3 nights, this team played very tight.
Yes.
And tonight they're playing with a lot of joy, and they're leaning into this moment rather than shrinking from this moment.
Absolutely. And I think a big help to that, look at that box score, that 2 runs in the first inning. Again, easier said than done, right? You're up against a guy who dominated you, Rosso, 7 punch-outs in 3+ innings on night 1 and kind of punch you in the face, essentially. You come out, you trust your approach against him. You've seen him before. You know he's going to try and go upstairs with that fastball. You ambush that fastball a little bit, jump out to a 2-run lead, then you can kind of sit back and start to enjoy yourself a little bit more.
3-1. Swing and a miss by Niantic Wu. You know, another thing that kind of stands out about this game tonight, the atmosphere ordinarily is so centered around the band, the music, the cheerleaders, and all that. They've almost taken a back seat tonight because this crowd has been so into it. And the crowd's always into it, but they've been into it in a different way tonight.
Right, and you know what? Again, we've covered a lot of baseball in Taiwan. Tyler, you and me, obviously the World Baseball Classic, Premier 12, and now this. But yeah, there's time. Rarely have we seen 7th, 8th inning where Chinese Taipei is on the back foot, crowd's depleted, the energy sucked out of this place, and the cheerleaders on the dugout and Big Travis down there, and whatever that, what is that, an eagle or a bird, that mascot?
I think so.
Where they're hammering out the sounds. We're going to look at them right now, and the crowd just not following along. Completely different. You're right. You make a great point. Completely different on the Tuesday night here in this final game.
Yeah, that was the case on Sunday. That 6-0 loss to Nicaragua. We saw fans leaving in droves early on in that game as a dying quail to center and a snow cone grab by Angel Beltre. What a catch by Beltre. 2 gone.
Man, this play, when it is straight at you like that, it's kind of in between when you're talking about, that trajectory. You could see him. He kind of took a step back initially. Then he made up for it, and wow, made an amazing catch.
So 2 gone and the base is empty now for Chao Wei Lin, who came in as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th. Spain will send the middle third, the heart of the order, I should say. The 3 spot vacated by Wander Encarnacion. Edgar Rondon will bat there. Then Jesus Ustaris, and then Roosber Estrada.
With the middle of that order coming up. I was so potent that first night. Drove in 6 runs, 8 hits between them. So they can get something going.
3-1 to Chao Wei Lin.
And yeah, they've had base runners, Tyler. You can sit here and say, hey, look, you need some traffic, you need some base runners. They've had that. They just haven't had that big blow.
And
Taipei, I mean, in comparison, has still scuffled a bit with runners in scoring position. They are just 3 for 16 tonight in that category. Came into the night 5 for 33, but it's just felt like they have had a few bigger moments than Spain has. Spain 2 for 12. They've left 11 on. Chinese Taipei has left 9 on. 2-out walk here for Chao Wei Lin. That'll bring up Wen Jie Chen. Runner off from first. Throw to second base is not in time to get Chao Wei Lin. Got a decent jump. That was a great throw by Lino, but Lin's in ahead of the tag.
Yeah, just timing up Alvarez. Got kind of predictable with the looks and the timing to first base, excuse me, to home. Now, I'll tell you what, that fourth run right here, base hit, would be huge going into the bottom of the ninth inning.
I would take it from a save situation to a non-save situation. Zhenwei Sun is warming in the Chinese Taipei bullpen, the closer for the Fubon Guardians in the CPBL. One of the elite level closers here in Taiwan. 3-0 is nowhere close. Back-to-back walks, first and second, 2 gone. And that'll bring up the catcher, Xiao Hengjiang.
Given Reiner Cruz is warming up right now some more time. Probably had to get up quick, thinking he wasn't going to pitch. Alvarez was kind of cruising. Now all of a sudden he's kind of hit a wall. And yeah, Reiner Cruz will probably be in this spot, especially in this game. But he didn't look too good the other night, Tyler. Struggled with his commands. Former big leaguer.
Manuel Oliveira, the pitching coach from Barcelona, out for a word with his reliever. Daniel Alvarez tries to keep this thing at a 3-run margin here in the ninth. Chinese Taipei, this island has been despondent over the performance of this team for the last few days. You flip around channels on the TV here, you walk by newsstands and see newspapers, it is all over everywhere, and a lot of question marks with this team as the 1-0 is skied to right, and Andres Angulo will settle under it. But for all of that consternation, they are 3 outs away from returning to the World Baseball Classic. Headed to the bottom of the ninth, Chinese Taipei will try to close out a win over Spain.
bottom of the 9th inning at the Taipei Dome, and Chinese Taipei is 3 outs away from clinching what at times this week has felt like an improbable return to the World Baseball Classic, but one that this island feels desperately that it would be crushed to miss out on. And as we head into the 9th, Edgar Rondon will lead off against the new arm into the game for Chinese Taipei, the Fubon Guardians closer, Jun-Yue Sun. And the first pitch of the 9th is down for ball 1. Sun, a fireballer, he's at 97 on that first pitch. The CPBL Rookie of the Year in 2021. A couple years ago, he became the fastest pitcher in league history to reach 50 saves in his career. Tops out at 98 miles an hour, but Chinese Taipei taking no chances. They've got other arms readying themselves if needed here in the 9th. This is the first trip to the plate for Edgar Rondon, Ryan, who came in as a defensive replacement. It's a tough ask.
Yeah, it really is. 96, 97. You're gonna see that split at some point.
2-2.
Sung, 23 years old. And I'll tell you what, these young pitchers on display tonight for Chinese Taipei. Yeah, we heard all about the next generation, giving these guys a chance to be on the stage. The future is bright from a pitching perspective, that is for sure. And by the way, too, it's tough to keep these guys in their early 20s in the CPBL. Usually they're getting pushed off to the United States, like some of them we've seen earlier this week.
2-2, swing and a miss, out number 1.
Man, just stayed with that fastball and again climbing the ladder. What a weapon. 94 with that plus spin, especially when you got the split in the back of your mind. Like you said, Tyler, that's a tough ask, your first at bat. Facing Song.
First pitch to Jesus Ustaris, rifled in there at 97 for strike 1.
You see that big inflatable dice in the Chinese Taipei dugout on the first base side. Back during Premier 12, someone referred to the Chinese Taipei bullpen as dicey. And so when they went to Tokyo, a fan sent that die, or one like it, to the team hotel and had changed every side so it was 6. Because in Chinese culture, you roll a 6, you're gravy. That's the best possible outcome. And the message was, no matter who gets into a game from this relief corps, you're all the man when you're on the mound.
Love it.
They brought that back tonight to try to rally this team and rally this bullpen. And as it stands right now, the bullpen has allowed just 1 run since entering this game after the 3rd. And it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count on Jesus Ustaris. You know, and Ryan, on the other side, for Nelson Prada and this Spain team, they lost the shot at qualifying for the 2023 Classic on back-to-back days to Great Britain and the Czech Republic. They led Great Britain 9-8 going to the bottom of the 9th. In the game they lost in a 10-9 walk-off. 2-2, called strike 3! Ustaris is gone!
Tyler going right after these hitters with that fastball. We just haven't seen that the first couple nights. It was pitching scared. It was pitching away from contact. They have completely flipped the script, these young pitchers. These early 20-year-olds, the next generation of Chinese Taipei. They have flipped the script tonight when it counts.
A sellout crowd to its feet as the first pitch to Roosevelt Estrada is ball 1. Nelson Prada told us earlier today, Ryan, he felt like his team was in a much better spot than where they were in 2023. That night, the loss to Great Britain, they had to turn around and play the next day against the Czech Republic. They dropped that game. Count 1-1 now on Estrada. Their only loss in this event this year was on Saturday. They rebounded with a win on Sunday. They had the off day and a workout yesterday. But still today, they are 1 out away from ultimately coming up just short of the main World Baseball Classic tournament. A ball and a strike on Roosevelt Estrada.
–
1-2. this dome ready to explode. Jinwei Sun, ready. 1-2 pitch. Got him! It did not come easy, but it's here all the same. Let the party begin in Taiwan. Chinese Taipei is back in the World Baseball Classic. What a scene at the Taipei Dome as Chinese Taipei has clinched a return trip to the World Baseball Classic and will not miss the Classic for the first time ever, which was a real danger coming into tonight as we welcome you back upstairs for the final time inside this sold out and now joyous Taipei Dome. Alongside Ryan Roland Smith, I'm Tyler Maud. Ryan, these fans had no idea what to expect coming into tonight, and their guys answered the call. Their heroes get this team back into the Classic.
They come into this tournament, and again, coming off the Premier 12 where they upset Japan. The first night, the team they just beat Spain, nearly mercy ruled them. We're a run away from mercy ruling. So all of a sudden, you start second guessing everything you're doing. But however, it doesn't matter how you got here, how you scripted this out, it all is forgotten because of what they're doing on the field right now. The young pitchers stepped up on full display, 96, 97 mile per hour, absolute nastiness, got the job done. Huge congratulations to Chinese Taipei.
Hao Ju-sung and his coaching staff, their faith rewarded in these young guys as they are headed back to the World Baseball Classic, and it is going to be a party all night. They threw a championship parade here with 1 million people who tuned out when they won Premier 12 back in November. They are set to light this place up here in the coming days and weeks as Chinese Taipei will return to the World Baseball Classic. What a night and what a week of baseball here in Taiwan. Congratulations not only to Chinese Taipei, but to Nicaragua as well. Moving on to the 2026 Classic, and to South Africa and Spain, an amazing week here in Taiwan. For Ryan Roland Smith and our entire crew here in Taipei and back in Secaucus, my name is Tyler Maud. Chinese Taipei off to the World Baseball Classic. Congrats to the home team.